So my next interview, FIDE President Arkady Dvorkovich. You've been meeting this morning with the President of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev. Any interesting projects, any interesting agreements for the future of this tournament and chess in Kazakhstan?
First of all, FIDE really appreciates the President's personal support of chess in Kazakhstan. He pays attention to the development of chess at all levels, including chess in schools, raising new talents, and organizing top-level events here in Kazakhstan. We discussed all these three dimensions, as well as social dimension of chess, like chess for disabled people or chess in prisons. But most importantly, again, creating the basis, the fundamental mass of chess developed in the country through chess in schools in all regions of Kazakhstan. And the President will give instructions to his colleagues and across the system that it's a priority project. Also, we discussed how to organize top-level events in Kazakhstan in the future, including possibly again, in the future, the Chess Olympiad,
Nice.
but meanwhile, World Championships for kids or youth, and maybe Rapid and Blitz World Championship at some point as well. So we will follow up on all those subjects in the nearest future, the nearest weeks, to finalize decisions on these matters.
Yeah, that's nice to hear. Very good. Arkady, you're jetting all over the world, attending meetings, tournaments, closing ceremonies. You're here today, tomorrow you're somewhere else. You've just come from Batumi. How do you deal with all the stress that these trips take on you? What is your secret to deal with all this?
I just love chess, and I enjoy being around those tournaments, but most importantly, of course, finding new partners and opportunities to develop chess further in all those countries. Also, I feel responsibility. I've been just re-elected for the next term with a huge number of votes, and that's an enormous responsibility that I took, and trust that I feel keeps me working and keeps my energy up. But of course, I also play football and other sports to be in a good physical form.
Arkady, let's talk about fair play. Let's talk about anti-cheating. As you know, the recent days, there's been a lot of drama of this issue in the media, even in the mainstream media. What are FIDE's plans to address this very worrying issue and avoid this existential threat to our game?
For us, it's not a new subject, and we started taking some of the critical steps a couple of years ago with improvements in our algorithms that enable us to detect potential cheating at all kinds of tournaments, including online and over-the-board tournaments. Those algorithms are still not perfect, and of course, the approach is to avoid our anti-cheating barriers are more and more creative as well. Technologies are going forward, so we have to find new technologies to fight cheating as well. Here in Kazakhstan, for instance, there's delay in broadcast that helps. Whether it's an optimal delay, 15 minutes, or it should be 30 minutes, like some experts and players say, we will discuss very seriously, and we will most likely use this at least at top-level events, but maybe at all events. Second thing is technical equipment that allows to detect potential devices that enable cheaters to cheat. Those equipments are expensive, so we cannot spread those devices all across the world. It's going to be extremely burdensome, but we are working with technical experts on how to minimize costs and fight cheating efficiently. And the third thing, of course, is prevention. Prevention is both about talking to people, explaining the harm of cheating from very young ages, but also about sanctions. And if people know that sanctions are going to be harsh and decisive, then many people will think twice about whether to cheat or not. So the combination of these actions can help, not any single one, but a combination of those things.
Sounds good. This is the last round of the Astana leg of the Women's Grand Prix, the first tournament of the series. We're here in Astana in the press center. Let's talk about women in chess. 2022 is the year of the woman in chess. Yesterday I had the pleasure to interview Elizabeth Betts, one of the top 15 or 20 women players for many, many years. She expressed her concern, not only for herself, but as a spokeswoman for many of the top players, of the lack of opportunities that some, not all, some of the top women are having, especially during this year. And I quote, "Maybe we need a representative who'd speak for the top woman player in some of the commissions or in some of the higher decisions, a top woman player to do this task." Of course, this event is clearly a success in organization, in competition. Do you think there's still room for improvement for top women players at the level of tournaments and other competitions?
Well, I certainly believe there is a huge room for improvement. I would say that we started the process this year. To be honest, we started a couple of years ago by increasing prize funds. The pandemic was not helpful in this respect, but we have higher prize funds for all kinds of women tournaments anyway, as compared to the period 10 years ago, for instance. We have more tournaments now, including both over the board and online. We have more women in chess, if you talk about referees, arbiters, or coaches, or officials, organizers. We have more women in management board and good representation in FIDE council as well. There are many voices that speak for women. The Women Commission, of course, itself, but also, for instance, in Players Commission, Dinara Sedvakasova is a very good representative of ladies in chess. Of course, the management board, Dana Reznice-Ozala, is a very loud voice for women in chess as well. So many people, but the room for improvement is still huge. Here, one of the most important things is how to bring more attention to chess, how to make sure that women are treated fairly, equally in chess all around the globe. Here media can play a role, and we should work more with media to explain that, make sure that people understand what it is about, what it takes. And of course, it's also about creating more opportunities for careers in chess. More tournaments and better prize funds, more opportunities for coaching, since some players will at some point shift to coaching, training other people rather than playing themselves. I already mentioned officiating chess events and management positions, organizers' positions. So we have to provide as many opportunities as possible to ladies so that they can start their careers without fearing that they will not get a chance.
Sounds very good. So thanks for coming, and see you now in the broadcast.
Thank you. Thank you.